Last week, we saw World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Car Series driver Christopher Bell as well as Logan Seavey fight hard for the win at Eldora Motor Speedway. Tonight, we move to the USA International Speedway for round number 6 of your World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars here on iRacing service. Join us in just a few moments.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back to RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live, covering as well on Dirt Vision. My name is Randy Chineth, joined by Mr. Brett Wheeler, Hugo Louis, bringing the action in the production booth tonight. World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Cars tonight, Brett, here at the USA Speedway. This is a bit of an interesting one here for what we have in the iRacing service. The only track that we have that does not exist in the real world anymore, but still very fun track to race around. If I had to describe this track to someone, I'd say it's almost a little bit of a, almost a cross between, from what we have in the service anyway, between Williams Grove as well as Volusia. You get the long straightaways that you get at Williams Grove, but those corners are relatively wide and are very, very quick.
Yeah, you're not wrong. These long straightaways and as you said, these tight corners. This is something these drivers are going to have to adapt to really quickly, especially in these open wheel cars. You know, the speeds that they gather down the straightaways, and obviously they're going to turn fast left. And look, I'm excited to be here once again. And as you said, some notable names here in the server tonight. You got Logan Seavey and Christopher Bell. I mean, for the past 2, maybe even 3 weeks, those guys have gone at it, tooth and nail, side by side, and they've raced each other clean. I can't wait for tonight.
Looking down your championship standings, Logan Seavey continues to lead the way. Note your top 3 in points all in this race here tonight. Logan Seavey, Christopher Bell, and Mike McKinney. They qualified themselves amongst the top 6. Some other notable names here. We got Vinny Sansone qualified in the 10th spot. Kevin Swindell, he's got himself up into the top 5. Justin Thomas as well. Mike McKinney, as we've mentioned. But 13 car field today. Time trials are done and underway. And now gridding is starting. Let's go down your starting grid for tonight's 25 lap feature event. Logan Seavey will take away the pole tonight by about 1/100th of a second over World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Car Series driver Christopher Bell. Kevin Hawley and Stephen Moore will make up row number 2. Kevin Swindell and Mike McKinney make up row number 3, with Justin Thomas and Ryan Robinson making up row 4. Adam Elby and Vinny Sansone row 5. Joe Quinn and Davey Scoville row 6, with Justin Knobloch rounding out the 13 car field here today. A lot of notable names here, as we've already mentioned several times. Interesting to see Logan Seavey and Christopher Bell fight it out here. They've really, Brett, kind of defined themselves, I think, as the 2 dominant drivers on the service. We've not really seen anyone really challenge them in any of these races we've had on these Monday nights.
No, those 2 drivers have certainly set the benchmark quite high when it comes to the World of Outlaws, the Craftsman Sprint Car Series. But, Mike McKinney over the past couple of weeks, well, he's been there along with Kevin J. Hawley. So, I mean, Holly starts 3rd, McKinney starts 6th. It's going to be interesting to see how McKinney adapts to starting 6th, where he's had a front 2 row starting position over the past couple of weeks. So look for that number 3 to come through the pack. But I think this race is going to be all about Logan Seavey and Christopher Bell putting on a show for the fans.
For those who are curious, Kevin Swindell, of course, injured in a crash a couple years ago at the Knoxville Speedway track, where we know is currently getting scanned. We're going to be getting here in the iRacing service as well. Kevin actually is racing on hand control. They confirmed that via Twitter a couple weeks ago, that was in a couple races with him. I wouldn't say I raced with him. He was pretty much gone as far as I was concerned. But Kevin, very impressive pace considering race with the hand control. It's actually basically two bicycle, basically a brake and a clutch as you would, that he has wired down to pedals. That's how he's using his throttle and his brake as the field rolls off for the first of 2 pace laps tonight.
Yeah, I know exactly what he's going through when it comes to rehabilitation and stuff like that. But you know, I wanted to talk about that. We're obviously here to talk about the races. So look, over the past couple of nights, I've actually had the chance to race with Kevin. You know, in a variety of categories, actually all categories, 305s, 360s, and 410s. He's just been so fast at the previous track at Eldora, but now you come to USA. I'm should be interested to see how he actually goes here in a 410, especially starting from that 5th spot with with a lot of drivers that are inside the top 10 in the series points here tonight.
Talking about this racetrack just a little bit more at USA International, Brett, you can really work both sides of the track here. You can get up along the top when the track gets itself relatively heavily used, then you really, if it's relatively light usage, you can be down around the bottom. Moderate usage tonight is what we're starting in, so I think we're going to see both of these lines at some point tonight come into play. I wouldn't be surprised to see people move up to the wall and likely see some aggressive sliders thrown tonight as well.
Yeah, looking at the track, it looks a little bit slick on the low side of the speedway. It looks to be, from my vantage point and from what I can see, I think the top might be the place to be. But expect these guys to throw the slide jobs on each other. They're not afraid to throw them.
13 cars down the back straightaway and into 3 and 4 for the final time under these pace laps, and we're going to let them go racing for 25 laps here today as the iRacing safety truck comes down onto pit lane. Logan Seavey will be in command of the field with Christopher Bell on his outside. They get the green flag and a bit of a shuffled in the back of the field a little bit early on. He gets in big trouble down there on the inside. I'm not sure who that was. That was Kevin Hawley. Goes from 3rd place to last really quickly there, Brett.
Yeah, an uncharacteristic-like mistake there from Holly, but well done to all the drivers around to avoid him as he come back onto the racing service. But meanwhile, it's going to be Logan Seavey. He leads lap number 1 with Bell in command. Here comes Swindell and Stephen Moore. Swindell on the outside, Moore on the inside. Moore looks to make the pass down out of turn number 2, down the back straight over Swindell. He's got the run coming off turn 2. He's actually running the top side here in 3 and 4.
Kevin up along the top. We're seeing drivers use both ends of the racetrack right now as Logan Seavey has himself out to a 1-second advantage over Christopher Bell already as they work themselves down the back straightaway. Kevin Swindell's in that 3rd spot, still fighting with Stephen Moore. He goes to the inside into 3 and 4. Going to try to put a bit of a slider on Kevin Swindell through the middle of 3 and 4. Gets just clear. They come off of 4, and Kevin tries to work the cut under there. Not quite able to get it clear. They're now going to come under assault from behind.
Yeah, the 9 of Justin Thomas riding behind Kevin Swindell there as they come out at turn number 2. I tell you what, Mike McKinney's actually gone back a spot. I would have expected that number 3 to move forward, but he hasn't actually had any chances to get that number 3 car rolling as they try and settle themselves in. It's still Logan Seavey, your race leader.
Seavey still looking quick. Christopher Bell, the 10th of a second quicker, though, that last time around. Your top 6 or so, 7, 8, 9, getting themselves relatively single file. Ryan Robinson, though, big move on Mike McKinney. Not quite able to get the slider clear, though, so Mike's going to have the momentum up top. Going to hold on to that 7 spot for now, though. Into 1 and 2, the 13 machine looks to the bottom again. Will he get it clear over the 3 of Mike McKinney? Yes, he will move Ryan Robinson up into that 7 spot as he works down the back straightaway and into 3 and 4. Does he make the move on Vinny Sansone? Can he make that stick? Yes, he does. That's 2 cars in 1 lap, Brett.
2 slide jobs in 1 lap as well. Man, that 13 of Ryan Robinson, he is rolling on the low side of the speedway. That just gives you an indication of what you can do if you get your marks right on the bottom side, and you can actually throw some good slide jobs. The 13 of Ryan Robinson up to 6, and let me tell you, Justin Thomas, you're about to have your hands full this lap.
As they come across the straight to begin lap number 8, into 1 and 2 they come. The 13 machine of Ryan Robinson, not close enough to make a move yet, but as they come off of 2, he is all over that back Nerf bar of Justin Thomas. Now into the turns number 3 and 4. Robinson going to slide up in front of Thomas, but Thomas works the cut under. He's going to take the spot back when they go into 1 and 2. I don't think Ryan's going to look to stay down around the top side and stay single file. Justin Thomas actually cuts off the slider on the low side.
Yeah, smart moving there by Justin Thomas to block the slider. He shut the door on Ryan Robinson going into 1 and 2. Now he does the same thing in 3 and 4. So it's going to be Thomas in front of Robinson now. Back to Vinny Sansom in 7th. You got Mike McKinney in 8th as well. He's having a bit of a tough run here in the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series.
Working lap number 10 down the back straightaway and into 3 and 4, and Ryan Robinson not quite been able to get by Justin Thomas as quickly as I think it would have liked. The pace is sort of equaled out there. Side-by-side action a little bit deeper in your field, though, as they go into 1 and 2. This is Kevin Hawley as well as David Scoville. Hawley ends up getting himself up into the wall. Big wheelie. He's going to go to the back of your field again, Brett.
he's just not having the night that he wanted. So it's unfortunate you have these races, but take right. How about Joe Quinn and Justin Knobloch as well? They're actually having a good side-by-side battle as they go into 1 and 2. Knobloch on the top side, Quinn on the low side of the speedway, and just in front of them is the 11 car of Adam Elby.
Adam Elby in that fight as well. Vinny Sansone as well, dealing with Mike McKinney just ahead of them. Those guys down a little bit deeper in your field, gets themselves single file. Checking in with Ryan Robinson again, still about 2 to 3 tenths of a second off the back of Justin Thomas. That gap has stabilized. Stephen Moore and Kevin Swindell are still fighting for a position. This is going to be for 3rd place on the racetrack as they come up off of 4 to complete lap number 13 of 25 tonight. Into 1 and 2 they come. You see the 5 of Stephen Moore go to the top. The 12 of Kevin Swindell goes to the bottom. Tries to slide up in front of Stephen Moore, not quite able to get clear. He's going to have to slot back in behind for now.
Man, talk about Logan Steve and Christopher Bell putting on a show. They're just about 6 seconds clear of 3rd place, running Stephen Moore in the 5 machine, and then go back to Kevin Swindell. Justin Thomas rounds out the top 5. All 3 of those drivers run the low side of the speedway in turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, 14 down, 11 laps to go.
Sansone and Mike McKinney were side by side off of 2, but Sansone able to hold on to the spot. Mike McKinney still trying to get by that 7 machine of Vinny Sansone as they come out of 4 now into 1 and 2. Again, the 3 machine goes to the bottom, tries to get side by side. Can he get some traction up off of 2? He gets a decent run, but he's still going to have to fall back just a little bit. He still has Adam Elby just behind. That's making him think about it and not really letting him be fully comfortable trying to make this move on Vinny Sansone, Brett. As caution comes out for the first time, car down in the wall on the inside. This is Justin Thomas. He's up amongst your top 5.
Yeah, Thomas actually threw a big attempted to throw the big slide job on Swindell, and just as they come off turn number 4, it was Justin Thomas and Kevin Swindell. The left rear meets right front, and unfortunately for Justin Thomas, he's the car that went around there, and just a bit of a racing deal, unfortunately for Justin Thomas.
Aggressive racing here at USA International. Justin Thomas goes around. Doesn't look like he's going to have any big damage on that race car, so he's going to be able to get it back rolling, and he will restart this race from the back of the grid, it looks like. But on the restart we're going to have here, going to be about 5 or 6 or so laps to go when we go back to green flag racing, and this is the top 5 that they'll roll off from. It'll be Logan Seavey, Christopher Bell, Stephen Moore, Kevin Swindell, and Ryan Robinson. So as they work themselves by the line this time, lights on the pace truck will stay on. So it should be 2 laps to go from here, Brett. We're going to have ourselves leave a 5-lap shootout to the end.
Yeah, 5-lap shootout. And this is where Christopher Bell, he needs to get a good restart, because if he doesn't get a good restart, I dare say, all barring a mistake from Logan Seavey has been fairly dominant in this race, leading by about a second over Bell. But those 2 drivers really drove away from the rest of the field. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the last 5 laps. But Christopher Bell, he needs to get this restart down in order to have a chance at taking out tonight's round.
That's absolutely right. He did not get a good start to this event. Him and Seavey have been roughly equal in pace, but Seavey got the majority of that gap he had in those opening couple laps. After that first few laps, Seavey and Bell proceeded to just trade lap times back and forth. Now field going to start to get themselves formed up as lights on the pace truck go out here. We're currently working lap 20, going to be coming to lap number 21 to start. So 6 laps to go now. 5 laps to go to the stripe, and I think if you're Logan Seavey or Christopher Bell, Brett, you have to be really nervous. You just had yourself a big gap over the rest of the field. Now everyone that gap gets a race, they might be able to make a move going into 1 or into 3 after this restart.
Yeah, well, looking at the drivers and what they've been running over the last sort of 8 to 10 laps is they actually enter on the low side of the speedway. They slide up past the slick and they try to get the drive on the top side of the speedway. So it's kind of like throwing a slide job on yourself, and I think Bell needs to be wary of that as well.
So as they work through 3 and 4, pace truck going to be pulling down onto pit lane. Logan Seavey in command of the field. He's going to get on that loud pedal, but he doesn't not get a big jump. Christopher Bell is going to be all over his outside. Kevin Swindell also working just behind them, now goes to the top side, but your top 2 are going to stay in order. Kevin Swindell, and actually Bell's going to get into the wall coming off of corner number 2. Into 3 and 4, they both go to the bottom. Swindell again goes to the top. 4 of Christopher Bell, though, gets a big run on Seavey through the middle, but Seavey has the traction off of 4.
How about Mike McKinney now starting to come through on the outside of Adam Elby? Adam Elby up into the top 5. He started nice, a big race here for Adam Elby. But I'll tell you what, Logan Seavey looks to have that 1 car locked down on the low side.
Top 4 drivers get themselves pretty much single file up off of 4 side-by-sides happening in the back of the field, though. Vinny Sansone, Justin Knobloch involved in this one. I believe Justin Thomas, David Scoville, Joe Quinn as well. 5-6 cars all fighting for position. Bit of contact between the 2 and the 10 as they come off of corner number 2. 2 laps to go when they get to the stripe, this time by Adam Elby as well, as Stephen Moore continue to fight it out, as again Christopher Bell and Logan Seaver are stretching a gap on the rest of the field.
Yeah, 1.5 laps to go here for your race leader, but Adam Elby with a nice slide job on Stephen Moore in turns 3 and 4. That time on the previous lap, I should say, Logan Seavey out of turn number 4. The white flag is in the air. He should have this one in the books, but don't count out Christopher Bell just yet.
0.3 of a second was the gap at the line. They work down the back straightaway for the final time and into turn number 3. Christopher Bell is there. Can he get a big run off of corner number 4? And Logan Seavey slides up a little bit. Bell's going to get a bit of traction. He'll close the gap, but Seavey's going to take the win from USA. Looking deeper in the field, side by side between Scoville and Hawley. Bit of contact again, and Hawley gets sent into the wall. I don't think he's even going to make it to the line. I think he's going to stop a bit short. That's unfortunate for Kevin Hawley after that 3rd place qualifying tonight, Brett.
Look, it's just one of those nights for Kevin J. Hawley. Contact there as they come to the start-finish line, and he should be recorded as a DNF here in this event. But man, I'll tell you what, Logan Seavey and Christopher Bell, what a show they just put on for the race fans.
That was a big show indeed, going for your race win. And with that, let's go down your post-race results tonight from USA International. So for the second time of their 9-round championship, the World of Outlaws Craftsman 410 sprint cars stop into USA International, and Logan Seavey takes away the win. 2.5 of a second back, you have that 4 machine of Christopher Bell, Kevin Swindell, and Adam Elby make up 3rd and 4th spot, with Stephen Moore rounding out your top 5. Mike McKinney, who's been so strong in this championship thus far, comes home in 6th, with Vinny Sansone in the 7th spot tonight. Justin Thomas will come away in 8th. Davey Scoville 9th. Justin Knobloch in the 10th spot. Joe Quinn will be the last year finishers. Kevin Hawley comes up about 2 feet short and will be scored 1 lap down because of it. And Ryan Robinson, he gets into an incident and finishes 2 laps down today. Brett, that was a pretty physical race there from pretty much green to checker.
Yeah, look, these guys had to work their way, from the bottom to the top. I mean, we've seen Swindell on those last sort of 4 or 5 laps. He tried to utilize the top side to see if it'll actually be faster, but it just seemed to, as the guys went to the low side, they were just sliding up and getting the moisture off the turns, and that's what you need in your sprint cars. You need to find the moisture, especially on your rear tires, and that's where you get a lot of the drive from. So look, hats off to all the guys. I tell you what, I'm most impressed here with Adam Elby. Started 9th and finished with a great drive from the number 11 machine.
Up 5 spots for him, definitely the biggest mover in this race tonight. Couple drivers up 3 spots. Justin Knobloch goes from 13th to 10th. Vinny Sansone goes from 10th to 7th. And keeping an eye on the points here, Brett, Logan Seavey came into this race as the points leader. He comes away with the win. He's going to have to be super excited about that. But I think if you're that driver, Kevin J. Hawley, you came into this race 4th in the points. You come away with a 12th place finish. Have a number of drivers that were in this race behind you in points coming into this. You have Adam Elby, Justin Knobloch, for example. I don't think he's going to be too happy with that.
No, I mean, any time you don't get to finish your race, or let alone you finish at the back of the pack, it's not a good night for yourself. But he's just got to put it behind him now. He's got to concentrate on next week, and also concentrate on the rest of the series. You can't let this one race dampen your spirits for the rest of the season.
So with that is round number 6 from your World of Outlaws Craftsman sprint cars here from USA International. If you want more dirt coverage, well, we have it for you this coming Sunday. Join the LSR guys, the World of Outlaw Craftsman late models. They run on Sunday nights of next week, same time, same place. The World of Outlaw Craftsman sprint cars will be stopping into Volusia Speedway for the 2nd time of this championship. That'll bring us 3 races to go in this 9-round championship. From that, this has been Randy Chinnett, as well as Brett Wheeler and Hugo Louis tonight, bringing you the action on RaceSpotTV, iRacingLive, as well as Dirt Vision. See you all next week.
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.